Next talk is multifractal analysis and stochastic modeling, application to oceanic turbulence and plankton multifractal random walks. And the presenter is Francois Schmidt. Okay.
Thank you. To move?
Yeah, you can either click here or you can use the arrows here.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Okay. So, okay. So I will, because it's a special session about Mandelbrot, so I did a short bibliometry of his works. So I will say a few words about this, and then I will review two applications of multifractal stochastic modeling in oceanology. So I don't know if Web of Science is something quite recent, so I'm not sure it's very complete about his works, but it goes back to 51, so perhaps it's complete. So he published, Mandelbrot published a little more than 200 papers in a span of almost 60 years. Here you can see the time distribution of the number of papers for each year. So he had a H index of 41. He had more than 13,000 citations. And it's interesting to see the 5 most cited papers, because they deal with different topics which were addressed this afternoon. So it shows a very interdisciplinary interest of Mandelbrot, because so the first one was cited more than 2,000 times. It was about FBM. And his paper about finance, his 63 paper about finance was cited more than 1,000 times. And also you can see a paper about turbulence materials or geophysics. This is his citation curve, and so it's also interesting to see that he published in 75 a fractal book in French, but it seems that it didn't have much impact. But a bit later, he published in 82 his fractal book in English, and then it seems, or perhaps it's also the invention of multifractals in 84, but then there was a strong increase of the number of citations of his works. And there was a peak in 2009, and then it seems to decrease, but we'll see in the next years. And for globally leaving Mandelbrot's work, but looking at fractal in the literature, we can see that there is about 17,000 papers with the word fractal in the title, and more than 2,000 papers having the word multifractal in the title. And again, there is a peak, a local maximum in 2008, 2009, and then it seems to decrease. So we'll see also in the next year if there is a decrease of multifractal papers in the literature. So going now to the field of some application in the field of oceanology. So I go back, in fact, to multifractal cascades in turbulence, and I'm applying this framework to oceanographic data. So the main idea was to see that there was intermittency in the dissipation field, and so there was some work by Batchelor and Thompson, and they introduced the word intermittency, so in turbulence. And Kolmogorov then proposed a given model for the dissipation, and some experimental results in the beginning of the 60s found that there was some power law correlation for the dissipation time series. And these two graphs coming from this original publication in the 60s. So that's why, in fact, Yaglom introduced his famous cascade model in his 66 paper. It's this paper here. And this, in fact, cascade model is at the basis of all the cascade models which are used still now in turbulence. And the motivation was to generate log normal statistics and also to generate something at small scales which has long-range correlations. And so it was already multifractal, but the word multifractal was introduced in '84, so it was an early multifractal model without, in fact, which was recognized to be so only later. So the field which is generated by such a cascade is shown here. And so it produces an intermittent field with spikes which have a correlated structure. We can also note that Mandelbrot has claimed in some papers that he invented the multifractals, but in fact, Yaglom model was also, we should better give the credit to Yaglom because the Mandelbrot model, cascade model was date 74. So the basic, this is, I recall here, the classical framework to consider structure function in turbulence. So you have something which is non-stationary, like velocity or temperature, passive scalar in turbulence. And then we look at the increment and we take the scaling of the moment function. And so if it's linear, you have Brownian or fractional Brownian motion. And then if it's non-linear, you have something which is multifractal. So we use this to study oceanic time series, and I show here two such time series which have been recorded at a fixed point. And so it belongs to the field of so marine turbulence because we look at small scales. It's 1 Hertz series, and the idea was to compare fluorescence and temperature. So fluorescence is a proxy of phytoplankton, so it was a way to see if phytoplankton is a passive scalar or not. And so doing this, this is a power spectra, so we see there is a nice 5/3 range for the temperature, showing that it's obeying the passive scalar framework, but for the other curve, for the fluorescence curve, there was a break in the scaling. And the same was done for other moments, so using the multifractal framework. And our conclusion about this such analysis was to say that at small scales, the physics was dominating, and so the phytoplankton behaved like a passive scalar. And at a larger scales, there was biological activity, and so the statistics were different, and the biology was dominant. So this, it's an example of our first application. And now I will present some words about another application. It's a way to, in fact, consider zooplankton trajectories. So here you have some image of zooplankton, which has a typical size of 1 millimeter. It's an animal which needs to explore the environment, so it's moving, and they can swim, then jump, they swim. And what is done in the literature is to, in fact, record the trajectories and statistically analyze these trajectories. Here you have several examples of such trajectory. And here you have a movie showing how they move. So in fact, they have some kind of random walk, and so the idea is to see if this is completely Brownian, or if other models are needed to characterize such a movement. So a good way to characterize these movements is to use the structure function, which is introduced in turbulence, and it can also be used for the analysis of animal movement. And you have different theoretical curves. One is Q/2 for normal diffusion, Brownian motion. Some people advocate Levy work, and for a Levy work, you have, in fact, a bilinear expression for the structure, for the scaling exponent. And what we found for these zooplankton animals, something which is close to Brownian for low order of moments, but for larger order of moments, we found something which is nonlinear. So that was one of the ideas, one of the bases, in fact, to introduce multifractal random walk. And multifractal random walk is something which is also introduced in finance, which is also becoming more and more developed in the field of finance. But for animal movements, we need, in fact, to be able to have a 2D expression for this. So here we find also Mandelbrot. He proposed for the financial fluctuation given model. So he proposed to do an integration of a multifractal cascade and then takes the Brownian motion of this quantity. And it can be shown that it produced a non-stationary field having multifractal statistics, so it belongs more or less to what is now called multifractal random walk. And there is another way to construct such a stochastic process. And in fact, in my case, I use this second way because it's more easy to generalize to 2D trajectories. So the idea is to have a multiplicative cascade and then to do a stochastic integration of this quantity versus a Brownian motion. It can be generalized in different ways. So we have now some kind of stochastic framework in order to produce such field and to, in fact, it can be analyzed using numerical experiments. I show simply a few examples. So this is a stochastic simulation of a Levy walk, showing that most of the time, if you see it as an animal, it's not very efficient to explore the environment because most of the time he's not moving at all and then he's jumping to another place. So this simulation shows that the Levy walk, which is advocated by more and more researchers for animal movement, in my point of view, is not very the good process. Here you have a simulation of a multifractal random walk, and if you remember the movie of Copepod trajectory I showed, in my point of view, it seems more realistic. So all this belongs to a field which is called search research. So it's how to explore heterogeneous environments. In this paper, which was published a few years ago, they only consider Brownian motion and Levy walks, and they compare them. But in fact, these models have no memory. And multifractal random walks belongs, in fact, to random walks having memory. So, in my opinion, it's much more realistic to applied field. And here it's my web page where I have all my papers about zooplankton behavior studies. Thank you.
Anyone have a question? Yes, go ahead, Danielle.
Okay, I think the relationship between the cascade of Mandelbrot and the cascade of Diagon are a bit more complex than what you say. And it will be a bit long to explain the difference. But there was a subtlety that Mandelbrot pointed out, the question to go down to the small scales and then to reiterate to go to the scale of observation, which was not
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you mentioned the question of divergence of moments and the question of observable, and yeah. I'm not saying that Yaglom did everything, but he introduced the model, of course. But Mandelbrot and all other mathematicians later did a lot of work on this topic. Yeah.